Hi, I'm Susie Garden, and this is the Ageless and Awesome Podcast. I'm an age-defying naturopath and clinical nutritionist, and I'm here to bust myths around women's health and aging so that you can be ageless and awesome in your 40s, 50s, and beyond. The Ageless and Awesome Podcast is dedicated to helping women through perimenopause and menopause with great health, a positive mindset, and outrageous confidence. Hit subscribe or follow now, and let's get started. Hello, gorgeous one, and welcome to this week's episode of the Ageless and Awesome Podcast. I'm super happy to be here this week. As always, I tell you what, recording this podcast is one of my favorite things that I do in my work, other than seeing clients, of course. But this is kind of fun. I like talking, and I feel like I'm really talking to you and hopefully giving you some advice that can help. So yeah, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. This week I'm talking about something which I think is pretty timely at the moment. It is winter in Australia, and I know that not all of you are in Australia and not all of you are in winter, but this may help you anyway. But because this is something that possibly you don't know, is that your immune system is actually impacted by perimenopause and by changes in hormones. Go figure, right? Geez, is there anything that this perimenopause or menopause does not impact? It's kind of crazy. But anyway, I figure whether it's winter or not, where you are right now, the amount of importance that I guess we now place on our immune systems, especially since the pandemic, it's important that you're really well informed about the potential for immune, issues and how you can prevent them. So yeah, it's really interesting to me because this is something that I probably didn't really know a lot about until I started researching for this podcast, that the way our hormones, especially estrogen changes, impacts our immune system. And it is actually a significant impact, and it's not a good one. But anyway, let's dive into our immune system basics. So before we dive into that connection between perimenopause and the immune system, I just wanted to refresh your knowledge about the immune system. I mean, our immune system is incredible. It acts as a defense mechanism, and it protects us against harmful pathogens. Pathogens are bacteria, viruses, fungi, all those things that can cause harm. So pathogens. And our immune system consists of a complex network of cells, tissues, organs that work together to identify and eliminate foreign invaders. And it's only been relatively recently that we've worked out that the gut is actually a really important part of our immune system. So I'm going to touch on that shortly. But the thing is that the hormones can really impact our immunity as well, and particularly estrogen. And this is because estrogen receptors are present in various immune cells. And this suggests that estrogen plays a vital role in immune regulation. And it may enhance immune responses by promoting the production of antibodies, right? So it helps support our immune system. It stimulates immune cell activity and modulates inflammation. So this is really important. This is a really important role that estrogen has. But as you know, during peri and obviously post-menopause, our hormone levels are different. In perimenopause, our estrogen is fluctuating. It surges and then it falls away. In menopause, it is just, very, very low. So as these estrogen levels begin to decline, we do see these changes in our immune system. These hormonal shifts can result in an altered immune response and might affect our susceptibility to infections and also autoimmune conditions. So again, super important to be across. So this is what happens. So we have an increased susceptibility to infections when our estrogen is lowered. So this decline in estrogen levels actually weakens our immune defenses, and it makes us more vulnerable to infections. And research suggests that women in peri may experience more frequent respiratory tract infections, So colds and flus, urinary tract infections, and vaginal infections. And I certainly get many women in clinic that is the case. This increased susceptibility to infections may be attributed to the reduced levels of estrogen, which impacts the immune cell's ability to fight off pathogens effectively. That kind of makes sense. So we have this increased susceptibility to infection. And then on top of that, there can be an impact on autoimmune conditions. So autoimmune conditions are where the immune system mistakenly attacks healthy cells and tissues, and they're much more prevalent in women than in men. And perimenopause can influence the development and progression of autoimmune conditions. The decline in estrogen may trigger or exacerbate autoimmune conditions such as rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, multiple sclerosis, and Hashimoto's. Estrogen, the thing is, estrogen has anti-inflammatory properties, and its decrease during perimenopause can lead to an imbalance in immune responses and potentially contribute to autoimmune flares. And certainly there's research being done with regard particularly to hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's in women. There is a theory that the fluctuation in estrogen levels, because it then may increase inflammation, it can create this ideal environment for the development of Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and that can lead to hypothyroidism. So it is important, and we do note that, particularly because, as you know, I work a lot with women with weight, and often we're looking at, well, what's the cause of the weight gain? If you're doing all of the things that you've normally been doing, if you're eating okay, if you're exercising, if your stress is under control, why are you putting on weight? And one of the first kind of factors I look at is thyroid function, to make sure that it's not your thyroid. And because I work in private pathology, I am able to do some more in-depth testing of the thyroid to see if it's not just your thyroid stimulating hormone that might be off. Because sometimes the thyroid stimulating hormone is normal, but the thyroid hormones aren't actually doing the job. They're not actually being produced in the right quantities relative to the amount of thyroid stimulating hormone you have. And then we can also do even deeper level of examination and look at your thyroid antibodies, if that's considered to be, if I think that that's an appropriate test, then we'll do that. And that's the thing, it can often be a thyroid issue, particularly for women in their 40s. And now they're really connecting into this, or maybe it's the estrogen, the drop in estrogen that could be causing this, because of the fact that estrogen modulates your inflammatory response. So this kind of may sound a bit boring and technical, but it's actually really important to understand this. And when you hear about, and I used to hear this all the time, oh, this food's inflammatory, this is anti-inflammatory, this will lower inflammation in your body. And I'm thinking, well, I don't have arthritis. I don't need to lower inflammation in my body. This is before I got trained in nutrition and naturopathy. But now, of course, I realize that, inflammation is the root cause of pretty much every disease. It's not just about pain in the body. Inflammation, most of us will have a low level of inflammation in our body. And so the more we can do to reduce that, the healthier we will be. All right, I'm going off track a little bit, so I'm going to come back in. The third point I wanted to make about the impact of peri in terms of our immune system is changes in allergic reactions. I have kind of touched on this. I did a short skin series, not last week, but a few episodes before, because last week I had the incredible Nikki Parkinson on. But the episodes before that, I talked about my own experience with allergy and the increase that, in fact, the development of eczema. I'd never had that before. And I didn't realize that it was because I was in perimenopause. I thought it was just hereditary. I mean, my dad had that when he got older. He had a skin condition. And I just thought, oh, well, I've developed a skin condition as well. But now that I know what I know, I realize that, of course, it was a hormonal link. So some women do experience an increase in allergy symptoms during perimenopause. And as I mentioned, estrogen helps regulate immune responses involved in allergies, and its decline can disrupt the balance. So many women find themselves dealing with new symptoms, like me, or intensified allergic symptoms such as hay fever, asthma, skin rashes, etc. So that's something to think about for yourself if you have developed an allergy that you haven't had before. If you have developed an exacerbation in your existing allergies and you're in perimenopause, perhaps that is the cause. And so you may just need to take a little bit more care in either avoiding your triggers or looking after, in my case, my skin. And I mentioned the kind of things that I do in, I think it was the podcast before last. So you can have a look back in that catalog. So these are the things: this increased susceptibility to infections, this impact on autoimmune conditions, and that can be either an exacerbation of an existing autoimmune condition you might have or a development of one, and changes in allergic reactions. So what to do? I'm always about solutions. I like to bring your attention to things and then provide some support. So, while peri and menopause may present some challenges for our immune system, there are steps we can take to support our overall health and well-being and help to manage this. Obviously, my background is nutrition. I'm a practicing nutritionist as well as a naturopath, and dietary management is key for supporting your immune system. So having a well-balanced diet means plenty of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, healthy fats, avoiding foods that you know are not great for you. For me, it's tomatoes. I know they're not great for me, but I love them. I find it really hard not to eat them. But I know every time I do, it does exacerbate my skin. So, as a treat, I allow myself tomatoes. But, if there are things that for many people that I talk to in clinic, it's dairy. Yeah, or it's certain pastas. Could be gluten. It may not be gluten. It might just be the combination of foods you're having with the pasta. But yeah, making sure you're having lots of really good whole foods that provide essential vitamins, minerals, antioxidants in particular that will support immune function is really key, but also avoiding the things trigger you off a little bit. And when I say that, it could even just be things like you might get some bloating and no other symptoms. You really do need to manage that because it means that you're getting excess fermentation in your gut. It means that your gut bacteria are not happy. If your microbiome is not happy, then you've got low-level inflammation that may not have, much in the way of symptoms, but you just want to make sure you're managing that so it doesn't get out of control and cause a problem. So balanced diet is key. Moving your body. And it may not be actually for the reason that you think it might be for. Regular physical activity that you enjoy, that's key, will increase your endorphins, will help to maintain a healthy weight, will boost your circulation, and will enhance your immune responses. And you can aim for a combination of cardio. I hate cardio. Oh, man, I need to do more cardio. I really don't like it, but I know it's really good for me. Strength training and flexibility. And, it doesn't have to be exercise per se. I don't like using the word exercise because I know for me personally, I'm not someone that loves exercise, but I love moving. And I know even dancing is a fantastic way to exercise. Even if you're just dancing in your living room, it's a really great way to move your body, to shift your energy, increase your endorphins, make you laugh, all of that good stuff, which leads me into my next point, which is stress management, because chronic stress can weaken the immune system. So introduce some stress reducing techniques that fit easily into your day. Yes, that's what you need. It doesn't matter what it is. It needs to be able to fit into your day. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. And really, ideally, you do need to do something to manage your stress every day in order to get the best result. This is what the research tells us. It can be meditation, but it doesn't have to be. It can just be some deep breathing exercises, belly breathing. I always bang on about belly breathing because you can do it all of the time. Yoga, doing things that bring you joy to help manage your stress levels. Having quality sleep, and this is always a big deal when you're dealing with perimenopause and sometimes postmenopause as well. So prioritizing getting enough sleep and establishing a consistent sleep routine. And this is the thing. I talk to a lot of women about sleep and they go, I never get enough sleep. And I say, well, what time do you go to bed? And they say 11 o'clock. What time do you get up? 5:30. I'm like, well, you're not even allowing 8 hours for possible sleep if you're going to bed that late and getting up that early. So often when I drill down to the reasons for going to bed so late, it's often just watching TV. So if that's the case, even though that might be a good stress management for you, just maybe moderate that. Maybe see if you can get to bed a little earlier so that you're actually spending at least 8 hours in bed. Then that means you're going to be more likely to get between 7 to 8 hours of sleep, which we know is ideal. And it plays a vital role in supporting your immune function. Also, gut health, as I mentioned before, we know that we have a whole immune system in our gut. So if you are having symptoms of gut issues such as bloating, such as excess burping, excess flatulence, diarrhea, constipation, pain, bad breath, reflux, any of these things, plus any more, there's plenty of signs that your gut is not happy. Please don't just smash the probiotics. I get so many people in clinic that are on these very high dose probiotics thinking they're doing the right thing, and often this can cause problems depending on what's going on in your gut. So please talk to somebody that actually is trained in this and can help you, because usually with gut things, it can be pretty easy. Once we understand what's going on, it can be pretty easy to fix it. And it's when you fix your gut, you fix so many other things. You fix your brain, your mood, your hormones, your immune system, your anxiety, your skin, so many things. So please, if nothing else, prioritize your gut health. Also, immune supporting supplements. When there is a lot of illness around you, there are some fantastic herbal medicines that can help prevent getting sick and also can help support a faster recovery. There are plenty of incredible herbs such as your echinacea, such as your olive leaf, such as thyme, such as astragalus, so many. Oh gosh, there's so many I could mention. Of course, as you know, possibly I have my own supplement that I've developed called Energy Glow NR that is fantastic for supporting your immune system as well as your stress response, your energy, your collagen, so many things. So many things. It's awesome. You can head over to theglowprotocol.com.au if you want to learn more about it. And you can use the code uppercase UGLOW30 for $30 off your Energy Glow NR. So I hope today's podcast has been helpful for you. I love talking about that stuff. If you have any questions, please feel free to message me at Susie Garden Wellness on Instagram or Facebook, or you can, if you're on Spotify, you can message me directly through the podcast. As you know, I'll be back on Thursday with Q&A Thursday. So any questions, please send them through. Thanks so much for joining me today on the Ageless and Awesome podcast. If you liked today's episode, please make sure you click the little plus button if you're on Apple Podcasts or the follow button if you're on Spotify so that you can get each new episode delivered to you every single week. If you like free stuff, and who doesn't, then head over to susiegarden.com and grab my 8 essential age-defying secrets every woman over 40 should know right now. Or if you'd like to continue the discussion, head over to Instagram and DM me at Susie Garden Wellness. I'd love to connect with you.